I'm very happy to be here. I was thinking back to the flurry of WhatsApp messages that we sent each other back and forth when you were trying to figure out how to take on this crazy journey. And yeah, brought a smile because man, you've gone on quite a journey since then.
I sure have, man. I knew it would too. I could just feel it. From the time I came across Ultraspeaking, the yellow marketing comes up, you guys speaking about how speaking is something that's about improvisation and flow, and it just resonated with me so deeply because from my time as being a hockey player and in interviews and doing podcasts, even playing the game as an athlete, that's where the magic happens. And you guys were selling that. This is what this is about, is dropping into that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I love there's something very special working with someone who has pushed any skill to its extreme. Because what you discovered, what I discovered in my own journey through speaking is that when you start getting close to the tip of the sphere, there there's so much nuance. And the smallest, when you get to the end or close to the front, the smallest mindset change can completely shatter everything and can just shoot you in front. The very beginning, when you're learning something, it's very rugged. There's a lot to learn, a lot to take in, and every step you take closer to mastery becomes more interesting, more refined, more nuanced, more of an art. And I find that much more rewarding and interesting. So having someone who's gone that far in their own journey as a hockey player and as an athlete is always a real treat because then you get to there's so many parallels, and I imagine that you in your own journey you've experienced parallels of you as you've taken on ultra speaking. So I'd love for you to say a few words and introduce yourself to our audience. Yourself, I guess a lot of people who are going to be joining and watching this already know you, but I think it's still worth you sharing a little bit about who you are, and then I'll jump in and we can talk about your journey and see where this takes us. The purpose of this whole video is to learn more about you, learn more about your journey, and discover what it takes what to become an incredible communicator and a truly a self-expressed human, which is the mission of us at Ultra Speaking.
Well, thank you very much for the floor. Namaste to everyone, to you and yours, as I like to say on my story every day. People think that's hilarious. Yeah, I just gone on quite a journey in life, as we all have. As we all have. We're all unique individuals in this realm, and we're all living an experience that nobody ever has before. Therefore, we're all special and unique. So, this is just my path. And growing up, life was perfect till 8 years old, and stuff started to go downhill as stuff happens in life. And especially when you're not raised with anything other than sports as your religion, it's kind of confusing and kind of tough for an 8 year old. So losing my dad to suicide, a lot more stuff than I'm going to be putting into a memoir I'm writing right now. But then playing hockey just for fun again after losing my father, losing confidence. I get to 16 years old. I don't know what I want to do with my life. You know, I'm a classic grade 10, like, oh, I got to do something. I got to figure something out. But I had made a vow that I was going to turn myself into somebody to my father who left me, and I felt abandoned, and I was in a lot of pain and anger about that. And my mom just suggested I go try out for a junior A hockey team. Just, hey, your friends are doing it. You might as well. She just poked her head in my room one day, and I'm like, uh, sure. I mean, you'll pay the $50. Okay, I'll go, Mom. Thanks so much. And I showed up there, and something just happened. It just clicked. And you want to talk about flow state? I knew from that day I was going to play in the NHL. Like I felt it. This was my thing. I don't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to do it. And
I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry because even though it's not about ultra speaking, what was different? You'd been playing hockey for a long time. Why did something different click there? What did you recognize?
because I'd been playing just for fun. Like when I made the highest level of AAA when I was 10 years old because of my dad's urging. He's like, no, 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 you're single A, but you're good enough to play AAA. We're going to go out into different teams. You're going to try out and you're going to make a AAA team. I was like, okay, Dad. And then I did. And I was like, damn, I was going to go on the, the typical Toronto, Canada hockey center of the world path to the pro hockey, and then he was gone. And my confidence went right with it. So then at
Mm,
15, I go out there and I'm like, I'm having way too much fun and I'm doing way better than I think I should be doing. Like I was just
mm,
playing fun before that. I was playing lower levels, single A, double A. So to be out there, I always thought the game well. I was lanky. I was not that fast. I didn't have the best skills, but I cared and I played hard. And then playing out there with those guys, it just clicked. Like the flow state just happened. I was gone. I wasn't there anymore. We all know that feeling when time stops and
mhm,
disappears. That's what happened. And I just said, oh, this is what I'm doing. And the discipline and the will and the anger turned all the way on. And I just went all in on it from that time. So from 16, I found myself in an NHL training camp a year and a half later. And then a year and a half after that, I got drafted to the NHL. So it's absolutely nuts. And that's why I have this unique lived experience, as we all do. But I know that I can just know things and believe in it and go after it, and it'll happen. I've had that proven to me. I feel like I have this little insight into behind the veil a little bit, and I just want to capitalize on that now because I've gone through so much that hockey journey of losing myself, retiring at 29 to injuries, and then having to rediscover myself. And now I'm able to take the discipline and mastery of quote, I didn't definitely master hockey. Believe me, if anybody saw me skate, I did not master the game of hockey. But the master of discipline to chase something that hard for so long, I'm able to now take and place into my offerings to now serve and help other people going through their lives. And that's what's so special about my path is that now I can apply it to things like Ultraspeaking, to memoir writing, to coaching, and just continue to work at myself and can be the best gift to others out there. And
mm.
really the short version of the story that I'm just really happy to be here now and so excited for this present moment.
Beautiful. There's nothing like the present moment.
There's
Oh,
nothing else ever.
truly. And so for those who are joining, Ultra Speaking, I think spoke to you because Ultra Speaking is an approach to overcoming anxiety and to it's a path to mastery of self-expression. So that can mean whatever you want it to mean. For some people, it means crafting a world-class keynote and delivering it on a big stage. For other people, it means feeling like yourself when you're with your friends, when you're with a group of strangers, feeling like yourself at work, feeling confident, being able to express what you have in here, what you have in here with flow in a way where you don't have to overthink and you don't have to judge yourself and you don't have to think about all the great things you could have said once you're done speaking, but you have a way to access them in the moment. And I think one of the things that was exciting to you is that our approach is very much that you can't get better at speaking without speaking, and that the game of communication is fun. It's incredibly fulfilling. It's incredibly rewarding in and of itself. But for some reason, the way society is structured, there are well, we're not taught communication in the right way. And so if you're shy or if you have anxiety or if you have a bad experience, usually there's no way out of it. And that just compounds over time. And I have one bad experience and now I start avoiding it and I feel a lot in my body. And then the next experience, because of all of that, is going to be as bad, and things just snowball, and there's a very high likelihood that I find myself in a place where I can't imagine communication being something exciting. But the reality is that we're born for this is one thing that we do not even need to be taught. You put a baby in a room with enough people speaking and eventually it's going to know how to speak and it's going to do it perfectly, and it doesn't matter the language. So we know how to do this. We have an incredible engine, and the software starts getting jumbled up. And our whole philosophy in Ultra Speaking is that, hey, if we can find the bugs in the software, if we can upgrade the software, solve for the bugs, you get to a point where you excel at this, because we all excel because we're made for this. And as you know, as a professional athlete, if you excel at something, it starts getting really, really, really fun and really intrinsically motivating. So, this whole live is about discovering what I'm hoping people get out of this is discovering a new way of looking at speaking, of looking at this journey of um, building new skills specifically in the realm of communication. So, can you tell us a little bit about, well, what prompted you to look for this? Why, when you left the NHL, why did you start looking at this?
Because I'm just chasing my highest excitement. And that highest excitement is my own spiritual path, because I believe the kindest thing any of us can do is remove our own ignorance and work on ourselves and be the gift to the world that we can be. And then now I want to help others be that as well. I want to help raise the collective consciousness. And I really want to be a world-class public speaker. Just point blank. I just want it the same way I wanted to play in the NHL, and I know I will get there. So I'm just wanting to transmute the suffering that I've been through, alchemize it into this beautiful offering, and give it out to the world to just improve people's lives, just make this world a better place. And yeah, that's the main motivation, man. I disappear when I speak. It's the same thing when I'm in the flow. When I drop into that moment, it's my highest excitement. I love writing. It's great. I love coaching. It's amazing. I love speaking because I can combine the coaching with that, with the speaking. And man, it's I go on. I practice 1 to 2 hours a day, usually 2 hours of ultra speaking, 7 days a week, and 2 hours goes by in like 10 minutes. Like it's just gone. Like I have all my people that I work with, and we set up times, and it's like it's over. Really? Like we gotta go now? Like it's just time stops, man. And that ultimately that's what we want. And I could go down a whole rabbit hole of that, but ultimately, what is peace? Is when the voice in our head's not going, when you're just lost in the flow of a moment. That's a simple way of putting it. There's a lot of peace, bliss, and joy when you are in the flow.
So, what has changed? From Kurtis 2 months ago, before he discovers ultra speaking, to now, uh, training like an athlete would, full on total immersion. What's different?
So for me, and you touched on a lot of interesting points in that last little point you made, a talk you had about different people come to ultra speaking, and I didn't come with anxiety to speak.
Mhm.
That wasn't my barrier. My barrier was I want to be as coherent, as clear, as concise and impactful, and connect with people, because I'm going to be talking about esoteric, deep stuff that is not easy to talk about. It's ultimately the most beautiful thing to talk about, our ultimate peace, bliss, and joy, spirituality, but it's very difficult for people. So I need to know how to read a room. I need to know if I step into a men's mental health group, I can go to this set of stories. I can go this way. I can take it this way. If I step into a woman's mental health group, I can take it this way. If I talk to a hockey team, I can take it this way. That's what ultra speaking is allowing me to do, is to be able to speak before I think, and I'm just repping it out, just like I did practicing my hockey, my shooting, my skating. It's reps, reps, reps. And now what's really changed is I get in the flow, but I have the skills that are there built in when I'm in the flow, and I don't forget them.
Mm.
I don't go on this crazy rant where I'm all over the place and I'm talking too fast and I'm not coherent. I'm breathing through it. I'm flushing the brain like we're taught. I'm just here and present. And it's so interesting to see the change. You know, when I started, some people I've been working with, they've seen me the whole way through, and it's just monumental difference. Every single 2 hour call, progress is made. And I want to reiterate this to other people. For the people who do join just to be social, to be better communication with their friends, I've seen people from the first day of that first cohort I took, some people couldn't even speak on the camera, and by the end I couldn't shut them up. Like it was awesome. Like I had, like, my friends now, they're just like, I just want to keep talking and talking. I just feel so like I can express myself. And ultimately that's what we're lacking in society. A lot of people are uptight, neurotic, unfulfilled because they're not expressing themselves. And this is, like you said, the number one way to express. This is what we did for millennia. We sat around the fire and told stories. What do you think you do when you go out to get in your car in the morning, you see your neighbor. What'd you do last night? How was the game? It's all storytelling that we're doing. So these people become so confident, so sure in themselves, and able to express their just lives get so enriched. And I'll take it a step further. It's therapy. It's not even therapy. It's a spiritual practice. Like you change as a person because you start to see that I'm gonna have to dig into the vulnerable parts of myself to connect. People you don't connect with people talking about surface level stuff. Nobody cares at the bus stop talking about small talk. People tune in when somebody goes, "Yeah, I'm going through a tough time," and you go, "Oh, I'm going to skip this bus and I'm going to talk to you." That's connection. That's what it's all about. So anybody who comes to this is going to change completely. And the last thing I'll add is the anxiety you talk about. Man, when you start to realize that anybody who reflects back to you anything other than positivity, if it's negative, they're giving you feedback or they're looking at you negatively, that's just a reflection of themselves. So ultra speaking just cancels this out. You know that there's nothing to worry about when you speak.
Mm, I love that. And I think that one of the gifts that expression gives you is the gift of being seen, you know? And I think in the world we're living in can be very lonely. It's never been easier to be lonely because we have so much that feeds the outside carcass, our dopamine. You can sit at home and be entertained and watch fake humans on TV, on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. And it feels good at first. It feels amazing. It feels like, eating sugar. It feels fantastic. Best thing I've ever felt. And I feel so connected. But if you're not mixing up with actual human beings, you you very quickly feel the void of the sugar and the pure dopamine. And what I think it comes down to is being seen. It's genuinely having opening up in front of somebody and that being the end of it, in the sense that you are received and that's enough. And I think the practice of speaking, it has been a surprise to us at Ultra Speaking. It's a surprise, and it turns out to be maybe the most important part of everything we do. Is that in order to get better at speaking, in order to overcome your fears or become a master, you need to do many reps, just like you were saying. And what do reps look like? Well, reps looks like telling stories, speaking, getting yourself in a state of flow where you're not censoring yourself and you're letting your mind go out. And that's very scary. And if you're a perfectionist, if you're somebody who's very much in control, which often comes with anxiety, um, that's very scary to do outside in the world because you don't know the outcome. You go inside of a pod with just two or three people who are on the same journey as you, who you know will be there with an open heart and an open mind. And you do that. You let things come out. You let the flow go out, which is a vulnerable act in and of itself. And before you know it, you start feeling that the kind of fulfillment that comes from eating real food. And I can't tell you how many times I'm sure you've experienced this. People who have said, I don't know if I want to go train today. It's scary. I don't want to. Do I want to go speak? And then I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that. I have a meeting. And then they jump in, and by the end of it, they're saying, I almost didn't come today, but I am riding the purest energy now. And yeah, hopefully we get to see some of that today.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So many different points you made that resonate. It's being seen is so impactful, like you said, and you really pointed that out, is because what's the ultimate underlying real root epidemic of society is that we don't think we're all good enough. That's like a lot of people. I work with people. I study this a lot. I studied it on myself every day, every moment I do. It's the feeling of lack and the feeling of not being good enough. And when you are seen, you are validated, you feel good enough. And from that point, you can just live your life so differently. And the amount of people, like just yesterday, I was on a call with someone and they're just they get to a point in their speech and they just tightened up, and we're all taking notes. We're writing furiously the notes on their speech, and after we go, what happened there? And they go, yeah, haven't sat with that one. Gonna have to go sit with that one tonight and meditate on that to be able to bring that and try to tell the story again next time, because they're clipping along, they're doing a good job, and it gets to this point where they have to show us the emotion and not tell us it, not tell us they were scared, show us it, relive it. And when you do that, then you can go through it, you can process it, you grow, you see that I can be vulnerable in front of people I don't even really know. I feel seen. I am good enough. I am enough. And that is a springboard to the rest of your life.
Love it. Let's see this in action. What do you think? Should we play some ultra speaking games?
Dude, I am so more than ready. I'll do this all night.
Let's go. Well, what are you working on right now? Where do you feel your limit is at?
I mean, hey, I know your story. We haven't talked about my story. We haven't talked about Tristan's story a little bit. This guy put in a lot of work too. So I know that you get better quick at things. I've been feeling that as well. This guy, if anybody doesn't know, there's this book called Ultra Learning, and this author was looking for people to demonstrate ultra learning skills that he preaches in his book to apply to things. And Tristan applied. He's looking at different things to do, and his friends are like, do speaking. It's applicable to so many different things. You dove in, and I've read and watched all the stuff on you and your Toastmaster speeches. You go from what, in 7 months or 4 months, what it was, you go from not a speaker to the finals of the Toastmasters. Like, it's just insanity. You were going to every club in LA, every open mic, bombing on purpose, basically, to get better. Like, it's incredible. So I know that things get better. So I, when I signed up for the course, I played the games before the cohort started for 2 weeks, just in my room, but for an hour or two, just getting better at them, just so I could feel
Mm,
prepared. That's just so. Then when I got to the course, I felt good, but then it started to expose my weaknesses. But now, after doing just straight storytelling between 1 to 10 minutes, I've got up to now every day for 1 to 2 hours. It's just been hammering storytelling, and I guess my limitations are where I try to pack a story in like a 10 minutes with too many scenes, too many things going on, and it's that's my thing. I get too jumbled up. It gets too convoluted. It gets too
mm.
busy. So it's about sitting in moments, building emotion and narrative through that emotion, not just saying the narrative, and keeping it laser pointed on my focus and not getting all over the place. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, we can play with that. Uh, okay, I have an idea. I'm going to share my screen by switching my camera like this. Is that working? It looks like it's working. We'll see. Uh, we're going to pull up, for those who want access to this is on ultraspeaking.com. Most of these games you can access for free. Snow globe. I want to play around a snow globe and see what happens. What I'd like for you to do, when you think back uh, to your hockey journey, can you share, like, off the top of your head right now, what are three peak moments that pop into your mind
Right now,
right now?
before,
Like,
before I do
if you just
those,
think about, yeah, just don't dive into them. Just list them off for me.
peak hockey moments: getting drafted to the NHL, uh, fighting Milan Lucic, and scoring my second NHL goal.
Okay, I want to hear the goal. Let's talk about this goal. Um, you have 90 seconds. Let's see where you take us. You ready? So for those of you who don't know, this game is called Snow Globe, and Kurtis, multiple times during the speech, is going to have to stop speaking and take a breath. And the goal while he takes the breath is for him to empty his mind completely and kind of reset, get to a place of complete presence where he's not thinking about where he's at. He's just changing his state and then awakening from that state and seeing what insight is coming to me in this moment. And as this is how we train the skill of pausing and gaining clarity while maintaining flow. So here we go. My second goal.
It's 2019, Newark, New Jersey. I'm playing at the Rock for the New Jersey Devils in the National Hockey League against the most storied franchise in NHL history and in sports history, the Montreal Canadiens. It's my first shift of the second period, and I get the tap, and I'm hopping over the boards. My skates hit the ice with a crunch, and I sprint back into the defensive zone before flying into the offensive zone. I have this feeling, this knowing something's coming. I think I'm going to score again. And as the puck gets rimmed around past Carey Price, yes, Carey Price, the best goalie in the world at the time, I slam into Victor Mete, the defenseman. After I slam into him, I know it's coming. I feel it again. The puck pops out. I keep my eye on it. It gets back to the point, and I know what Coach Hines says: get to the net, beat your man to the net. And I see this puck just floating towards me. I spin 360 degrees as I tip the puck out of air off Carey Price's pads. Shea Weber, Hall of Famer, sprawling on the ice, and I backhand the puck into an empty net. And my whole body erupts. Like, I'm talking every cell is like Mount Vesuvius in Pompeii. I am gone, consciousness out of my body, and I scream like I've never screamed before.
Wow. Wow. That was a story if I've ever seen one. Wow. I was there with you. That was crazy. You've told that story quite a few times, no?
Oh, I think so. Just a couple on my practices. Usually I've told it for 10 minutes and the details get intimate.
Wow. Well, I'm curious if we what happens if we do the opposite. Instead of widening time, what if we make the focus even more pointed? How long did that play take, would you say? Is it seconds, minutes?
That play took maybe 45 seconds.
45 seconds. I want you to let's hone in on right now. You gave me, let's say, the 45 seconds of the play and then the 5 seconds after. So 50 seconds, right? Let's say. I would like you to try and hone in on the 5 seconds before and the 5 seconds after. And you have to maintain yourself in this box
Okay, but
when you tell the play.
I just need some clarification. 5 seconds before and after what?
Uh, we'll call it the goal.
So I just want to focus on the 5 seconds before the goal and the 5 seconds after the goal.
Yeah.
And make it.
So make your entire story just about this moment.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
the total like a 15, like a 5 second of the goal, scoring it, and then 5 seconds after, like a 15 second. Okay. And then how long are we doing? What are you putting it on
We're
for?
doing the same time. You still have 90 seconds.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
The puck gets back to the point, and I just feel it in my gut. I just know it. And I sprint to the net because that's what my favorite coach ever, John Hines, said. Get to the net, beat your man. As I'm getting there, the puck's floating in perfectly. It's a perfect shot from Connor Carrick, and a 360-degree turn, tip it out of midair, right off Carey Price's pads. Shea Weber sprawled out on the ice trying to stop me. Carey Price is trying to scramble back in the net, and I backhand it over him. This is a goal I earned. My first NHL goal last week, it was a fluke. It didn't matter. It was a relief, but whatever. This one I earned by the way I play hard, physical, smart, with some skill. I have some skill too. I'm not just a knuckle dragger. When I say I erupted, even before that puck went in the net because I knew it was coming, kidding. Every cell exploded. My body just overcome with molten lava. And I screamed. Let's bleep and go, if you know what I'm talking about. And actually, I ended up looking directly at a camera. A cameraman was shooting right through a cutout, and I looked directly, oh, just like that moment with the hearts. It was perfect. I looked directly into the lens, screaming this, and I still have that picture today. I jumped into the boards in celebration, and then all my teammates piled on me, and I was just like, I made it. I made it.
Very cool. I'm so curious to hear. So is there any difference in the inner experience having this kind of a constraint where you're focused in on this moment compared to the open canvas you had on the first rep?
Yeah, it's just a different type of flow. I'm getting chills right now talking about it because I just relived that moment more when you
Mm,
this accordion method that Amon had me do in a 20-minute coaching call, right? It's just he kept having me chop it down to 5 seconds or 10 seconds it was, and you just get a really great look into that moment, just that vulnerable flow moment, and that's what I know you're pushing me towards.
hmm. And what about the pauses? What are you doing during those
Oh,
pauses?
oh man, the pausing, like you guys say, is the most important tool, and it is no kidding, is it's so multifaceted. And those pauses, I'm there, I'm living it, you know, I'm experiencing it again. But what's so phenomenal about it is that the pausing's more for the audience, right? And I know that if I'm there, they're lagging behind me. So that extra pausing is allowing them to build out this imagery in their mind. It's allowing them to be there and catch up to me so that when I start again, I know where he's at. So it's so, and then it obviously it flushes my brain, allows me to connect to another moment. It's just, there's so many things going on in the pause. It's so profound, and it's hilarious and ironic to me because the ultimate language is silence at the end of the day.
Mm. What's wonderful is the pauses felt so natural. When you were finished speaking, there was no part of me that was thinking, "Oh, that felt like the rhythm was off because of the pauses," or it just felt very natural, as if I'm riding the wave with you, I'm completely with you. And yeah, in my mind, I have very strong visuals of how this happened. And it's probably not exactly accurate, but I'm seeing so much. And if we were to hone in even more, I bet I'd see even more. So there's something very beautiful with being okay with the space and realizing that, hey, when I take time to clarify my own mind, I'm actually giving a gift to my audience. I'm allowing them to, I love how you said, to catch up with me, to wrap up their mind. And so we all get to pick up together again. That's really beautiful. Um, and by the way, for the audience, feel free to ask questions. Put them in the question or in the comments, and then um, we can pick them in the moment, or we can get back to them later. I want to demonstrate something. What I want to demonstrate is the magic of flow in speaking is this idea that you can be in a state of total presence as you speak, one that you almost awaken from when you come out on the other side. And that feeling is the ultimate goal in self-expression. If you think about your moments where you don't think that you're speaking, those are moments of flow. You're connected with a friend and you're just going back and forth and you're just completely with them. Words are coming out without you realizing. You're discovering the words at the same time, or you're at that level where words don't even matter. There's the point is that we're making noises and something's happening inside our minds and our bodies and our souls. That's what speaking's all about. And when we do it wrong, or if we get caught in making it about mechanics, then we're overly obsessed with the steps, and then we're trying to hold on to this thing that you cannot hold on to, and that puts us out of a state of flow. So when I'm in a state of flow, and I'm going to share my screen again, I can. It doesn't matter what is thrown in my mind, in my face. I could be, you could, throw a hockey puck in my head, throw a word into my face, interrupt me. As long as I can find my way, I am the river hitting the rock and just not slowing down, just going around, maybe even accelerating as I'm passing that rock and going to the next place. That's what we're the place we're trying to tap into to achieve when we speak. So what I want to do, I want to play a game and challenge you a little bit. We have a game here that's called Triple Step.
Oh,
I think
oh,
it's
oh, buddy,
one of the most fun games.
give me the hardest setting. Give me 10 topics, 15 topics in a minute. Let's go.
This is
Oh,
your thing?
oh, let's go, babe. This is like improv.
Okay. Yeah, this is totally improv. The what's Triple Step? Let me show people what it looks like. Let's see if I put a ton of topics just so we can see what that looks like. Um,
Ready for me to go?
when I play, don't go yet. Don't go yet. Well, I want to tell people what they're going to see. You're going to see Kurtis speak on a topic, and as he's speaking, he has to invite in the virtual dinner guests, which are the words that pop up here. So whatever you do, you're going to see words that are going to be popping up, and Kurtis has to stay on the same track and find a way to still share the story and go in the direction he's trying to go. But he has to use every word that pops up in a way that supports what he's trying to share. So what I want to challenge you to do is I want you to tell us the same story, or no, hopefully it won't be the same story, but with words popping in. So no title. We're still talking about this second goal,
Okay.
but now you're going to go through and you're going to have to figure out ways to integrate these words into your speech.
Okay, that's a curveball. I was not expecting that one. So now you're challenging me. Okay, so I got to
Good.
talk this second goal story. That's totally different. All right, here we go.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Okay. And two things I'll say. Number one is what's important if you're playing triple step. If you play triple step at home, for those who play triple step, the way you succeed at this game is by choosing a very strong direction, like creating a groove for yourself where it's hard to pop out of that groove. If you stay too open and you don't commit, then it's very easy when a word pops up to get pulled in the direction of that word or to start laundry listing the words. The goal is for the words to support. But what I would like to see in an ideal world, I would love for the words to kind of color the direction of this story. And I think that's one of it's a beautiful gift to have a story in the first place that you can tell many times. If you've told the same story 1,000 times, you start using the same words. You start having like these blurbs that just pop into your mind. Your brain starts becoming overly efficient, and you find out ways that work well. You get to a good story, and then it's hard to tear yourself out of it. So, how I approach telling the same story many times is I try to make it fun for myself. And so sometimes, as I'm telling the story, I'm going to be focused on the 5 seconds before and after the goal. But sometimes that's going to be an instant, and I'm going to be only talking about after the goal, or only beginning the goal, or a different, like what I'd been thinking about the day before as I'm leading into this, etc. I'd love to see if you could allow some of these words to maybe pull you in a slightly different direction than what we've heard so far.
Got it.
Okay, here we go. Kurtis, the second goal, the goal that changed everything. Here we go.
Newark, New Jersey, 2019. I'm playing for the New Jersey Devils, and I'm getting tapped for my first shift of the second period. I jump over the boards, and my skate hits the ice, and they crunch down. And I'm not thinking about politics. My brain is so laser focused. I just scored my first NHL goal last week. I'm hungry for another one. I sprint into the play, and then the play goes up ice. And there's some monsters on their team. Shea Weber's out there. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's
Yeah.
6'4", 235 pounds. This is a man amongst boys. And I go slamming into his D partner, Victor Mete. Maybe he's going to come after me. Maybe they do some online dating together. Maybe they like jump on Tinder after games and mess around with each other. Who knows what they're doing? But I'm just now slamming into Victor Mete and wondering if this monster is going to come try to take my head off. But I'm ready. I'm a tough guy. I'll fight him. The puck gets back to the point. And I remember playing video games like Nintendo or PS4 of the early hockey games where you saw a puck coming and you couldn't really tip it. That really didn't work that way. So to be honest with you, it really wasn't an accurate hockey video game. But anyways, that's besides the point. I do tip this puck. I do score on Carey Price, the best goalie in the world at the time. And it's the game winner, no less. My gosh, these are the things that go through my mind when I'm doing yoga right before this ultra speaking call, and I'm trying to flush it away because it was such a profound moment.
Let's go. That's really cool. That's a really interesting story, actually. I love the monsters that gave a color that we didn't have in the previous one. You know, when you watch hockey on TV and you see people slam into each other, you don't feel it. It's just you're just used to it. It's like you just see people slamming into each other, and since you see it every play, basically, it just becomes normal. But the reality is, you're on the ice, people have weight, it's a very different, and that, the feeling you gave me felt very different. Suddenly, I was a little boy on the ice, and the ice and everything felt a little scary to me.
It's intimidating place out there, dude. And my job was to bring the intimidation. Like I had 20 plus concussions minimum, dude. Like I'm not kidding. These were car collisions. Like these were especially the ones when I went to hit another guy like myself who considered himself physical and tough. I had to start lighting up on those hits because when another human that's 220 pounds sees you coming and you put all your weight into them skating 30 kilometers an hour and they hold their ground and put all their weight back into you, I mean, it just amplifies the forces and your brains just go ka-chung against your skull. And it was a wild way to make a living, let me tell you.
I'm seeing a lot of really cool comments. People have definitely resonated with this one in a cool way. Monsters were great. You got everything in so natural. Nadav saying, I really felt that laser focus that came out of politics. What was it like to hit that first word in a story that you've told so many times?
It was great. I thought it was hilarious to come up. And because of the practice I put in, and obviously you can tell how relaxed I am, right? Like it's when I used to do these games in my room by myself, I felt the anxiety. You know what I mean? But now on here with you, talking in front of people, whatever it's going to be public, I'm not worried about a damn thing because I just know whatever comes up, I'll work with because I've done it over and over and over and over again through trial and error. There's no cheat code here, people. But the best part about it is that it's fun doing the work. So
Mm,
that word came up. It was like perfect. I know exactly where to go with it. I didn't know. I just did. I just spoke before I thought.
yeah. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about speaking when you get into it, when nothing can throw you off. You realize that there's fuel and food in everything, right? The Nintendo one uh, was an interesting one because there's so many ways you could take it. You know, I was imagining when I saw it pop up, I was wondering, oh, is there a feeling sometimes when you're in a state of flow so advanced that time slows down to the point where it's easy. I'm moving around like I'm doing a very, very complex task in a way that feels like I'm just playing this video game and button A B boom L4 whatever. You can tell I haven't played enough video games. Score. But that could have been one way of like pulling yourself out and feeling like you're playing the video game. For you, it brought you back to almost the inception of the love for hockey, which is like playing actual hockey video games and how different that was. Um, But the point is, nothing threw you off there. I felt like you were able to navigate and flow very easily. Was that the inner experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just gonna walk into any room one day and just have no worries because gotta be honest, like with the spiritual practice as well, that's what really helps. Like I can say I have to say it every time I speak anywhere. Like it doesn't matter if you're a hockey player coming to me. What do I got to work on? You played in the NHL. What should I tell my son? What should I tell my cousin? What should I tell my sister? Anybody who I'm working with public speaking. What's the number one thing you've done to work on it? What's the number one thing of life? Meditation. Meditation is the number one transferable skill, universal to everything. When I'm able to see my thoughts come up that are the intrusive ones, oh, this is going to sound dumb. How are you going to use politics? These things happen instantaneously, but they're not me. I'm in control. I'm the master of my mind. I get to select what I choose, like a
Mhm.
Rolodex. I don't get to, I don't get sucked into those emotions and stuff because I've done the work. So sitting there, I'm just like, there's not even a delay. It's an automatic A to B of politics, how I integrate this. It's just instantaneous because I've put in that work doing it with the meditation every day, every day.
So let's jump into a few questions. I see two questions here in the Q&A. The first one is uh, William asking, how do you see the principles of ultra speaking applying to different areas of life? Have you noticed any overlap?
It's just like, it's too much overlap to talk about. I mean, like
Mhm.
I said, it's like, it's, I find myself really listening too because I have to give so much feedback to people. Listening to people has changed because I've learned so much from listening and giving feedback in the pods that I focus differently. But then I think also just pausing in everyday life. Like not many people pause in everyday life speaking or vary their tone. They do if they're like with their best friend in the world, but not with people they just meet. So I mean, there's just it's just endless how it applies. Endless, really. Honest, like it's that profound. The listening, the speaking, the different skills I can use.
And
Silence
Mike,
is
uh
man.
yeah, I was going to say, in my experience, the closer you are to truth, this is kind of a heuristic I have or a compass I have when I'm trying to learn anything, is if I'm trying to find out if something is resonates with me, is correct. I often find that the closer you are to truth, the more you can find that principle elsewhere.
Mm,
So if I'm in speaking and we talk about pausing, but you suddenly you look at life and you think to yourself, wow, I should pause more in life. That principle applies. And we have a principle that is the idea of owning it, for example, which means staying in character, saying, hey, if I fumble, um, I don't need to yell out to everyone, hey, I fumbled, I'm sorry I fumbled. I can keep going. And speaking, that's people saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I just messed that up, or I'm sure I'm not making sense. We call that breaking character. Um, and staying in character or owning it is saying, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to try to embody the best version of myself that I can embody right now. For me, that's such a beautiful metaphor for on how to approach life and any skill, really, in general. So there's something really beautiful there of watching the overlap in the most powerful tools you find out there. And if there is none, it might be a sign that you should be looking elsewhere. I
yeah,
have
well,
another
that way
question that I really love here, but go ahead.
rapid fire analogies. For example, like right off the bat of the course, you were forced to just say stupid stuff and just sit and understand that like you're doing it for a purpose, but it's still even in that moment, people are like, "Oh my god!" Like we're literally telling people stay in character. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. Say the same thing confidently, and they still, "Oh, this is embarrassing," or I messed. It's like it just trains you real quick to not care because there's no one judging you. Nobody's judging. Nobody's. If they're judging you, it's the reflection of their own inner judgment. Like you're. There's nothing wrong, and you learn. I see people. I've been doing calls, and I set up an event, and I've been doing it for months now. And then I get a newbie that's like a week into their first class, and we work on analogies, and I'm like, hey, I try to tell them, this is what I tell them, what I just told you, and they still do it. It's just, it shows how much that inner critic can really hold us, and we have to break it down systematically.
Worth worth reflecting on. That was really well said, and such an important piece of the puzzle. Why is it that you can hear advice? You can have somebody who's 2 months ahead of you, who's done it, who's gone through every step, and is going to say, "Hey, the most important thing here." Rapid fire analogy I can show real quick. This might be interesting. This is what rapid fire analogies look like for those who don't know. It's a game where you have to put two words. You have to keep talking. You just have to see how what your brain does. Let's see, where is it there? Like Apple products are like wine bottles because they age well. I don't know if that's true. Video games are like stress because they take life away from you. Public speaking is like an eraser because you can never go back, or can you, etc. You read what's up here, and then you allow your brain to keep speaking or your mouth to keep speaking, and you just open up your mind so that words keep flowing. And what happens is that, of course, you're going to say things that don't make sense or things you disagree with. And the whole point of this is not to say something that makes sense, is can you say something that you wouldn't have said normally and stay in character and own it and not let that feeling inside of you overtake you. And I could tell you that, and I can say, here was what's going to happen. You're going to say it, and something weird's going to happen, and you're going to have a weird feeling. And I don't want you to say anything. I don't want you to say sorry. I don't want you to smile. I don't want to be awkward. I want you to just stay in it so that I can't tell which one you were happy with and which one you weren't. And people will still completely fall apart on the first rep. And then a few reps in, they'll get it. But there's something to the mindset of a learner, this mindset of embodying a confident self that is game changing when you learn to take it on.
Game changing. Then you're like just not worried about anything. You could say the most dumb things. I've actually forced people. They couldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. I kept telling them, like, I want you to say the dumbest
Nice.
possible thing 10 times in a row to break this embarrassment you have, because it's all fabricated in your own head. Our whole lives is like, our whole life is mental. There's so many quotes about it. Lao Tzu or whoever. Everything's mental. Everything's mental. So you are a prisoner in your own mind if you let it happen. You're like a bird in a cage with the door open and you just don't want to come out. This is what ultra speaking does.
Is there a parallel with hockey here, with like being at the highest level? What's the best analogy with the rapid fire analogies and like playing hockey or competing at the highest level?
With ultra speaking?
Yeah, with this specifically, this idea of the mindset that it takes to
Oh,
be in a state where you leave no space for doubt.
oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's what separates the greats from the good. At the highest levels, everybody can hit the forehand in tennis. Everybody can hit the backhand. Why is Roger Federer the best? Why is Novak Djokovic the best? Well, Novak Djokovic talks about it because he meditates, because he works on this, because he doesn't leave room for that. He's dropped into the flow and worked on himself so much that he surrendered to the outcome, and that's when magic happens. He's put so much work in. He's failed so many times that he just knows that whatever happens in this match, if he fails, he'll learn from it and get better for the next one. And if he succeeds, he'll win. That's that freedom from outcome. That's surrendering to the flow, to the process. Like, that's the ultimate thing that even like the Bhagavad Gita talks about, the Hindu holy book of, work for the sake of working and the joy of it with no attachment to the fruits. That is where the magic happens. That is what it's all about. That is peak performance.
So when you walk onto the ice and you see these 234-pound dudes who want to destroy you, and you know that there are thousands and thousands of people watching you, and the doubt starts to creep in, what what do you do? Does it even start to creep in?
Oh, I mean, put it this way: when things were going well for me, I enjoyed the fighting. When things weren't going so hot, it wasn't so much fun. So if I knew I had a 250-pound, 6'6" guy on the other team ready to kill me, and I'm feeling good and I'm playing well and life's good, okay, the doubt won't be there as much. I'll put in the work. I've boxed all summer. I've done my MMA training. I've done all the work. But if I'm not feeling good, wow. And if I'm not able to recenter myself and those doubts take hold, I mean, you might as well just pack it in. I can remember one specific time, my was it my fifth year pro, and I had to fight this guy for the third time of the year. And the first two I just kind of wrestled him around, but this time I was not feeling so hot, and he put me down with one punch, just straight clean to the jaw, and I went, my knees buckled, and I woke up again. What happened? And that's because I was not present. I was lost in the doubts, the way a person is when they're doing rapid fire analogies and they break character. I broke character.
Hmm. Yeah, suddenly when you're doubting, you're engaging your conscious mind. Right now you're actually wrestling with thoughts. You're thinking through, you're negotiating with yourself, and you're no longer present. You're no longer in your body. You're no longer there. And it's reassuring in the weirdest way. It's reassuring to rationalize something. There's something about being human where when the doubt starts creeping in, you don't want to ignore it. Maybe that's an evolutionary thing. I don't know. But I know in me that I felt that in many different arenas where the doubts creeping in, and the best move is to let it go. Look, watch it, let it dissolve, and come back into the thing you're doing completely. And if you're completely there, there are no side thoughts. There might be listeners way in the background, but you're just fully present. But the reality is that when you hear the doubt, you think, wait, should I address this? Maybe I, and if you start talking to it, it's over. It just takes more and more space, and you've lost before you've started.
That's the old Native American or cowboy West, whoever said the quote was, when a storm comes, the cows run away from the storm. And what happens? The storm follows them. They engage with the storm. They run away from it. They get sucked into it, and it follows them. But the buffalo, it knows, and it just stands firm, or it walks right into that damn thing. And what happens? It passes by. You lean into
Mm.
things. Life begins outside your comfort zone across the board for every situation.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, let's finish with this question from WB Nations. What what would you have wished you would have known about communication when you were a young athlete focused on playing professionally?
Mm. That's an interesting question. What comes to mind is when I was young, and I still am working at this to this day, believe me, I was very brash and too far outgoing. So I pushed a lot of my teammates to the edge with my antics of working so hard and trying to be noticed to be worked, because I was the underdog guy. So I was like Rudy. I had to do everything to get noticed. So I could have probably, if I was who I am now and I stepped into 16-year-old Kurtis and I showed up to camp, I would have just said, "Hey, boys, I know I'm like new here. Just want to take you a second. I'm going to do a lot of crazy stuff. It's going to piss some of you off. It just is what it is. It's nothing personal. I really want this thing, so just be prepared for that. And I really mean no harm. I'd love to go for lunch with you after. Do whatever. Back then, go for a beer, whatever. you know, that would have probably alleviated a lot of stuff and been like, wow, all right, well, he said it and he's backing it up, instead of me just coming in there and all the flack I took, take your cape off and you go hard and all these things that kind of put some barriers between me and some people and rub people the wrong way.
Well, thank you, Curtis. This was a treat for me, truly. And yeah, so beautiful to see just a few months ago we're chatting about this, and now we're here on Instagram talking about this. And I love how much you've embraced this. You have been so active in the community, offering training sessions to everyone and anyone, and mentoring. It's been beautiful to see just how much you bring. You just go completely all in, and yeah, it's a gift for everyone. Everyone benefits from this, and so I really appreciate your energy, and I appreciate how much you've dove into this magnificent journey that for me has impacted my life incredibly. And yeah, so I thank you, and thank you so much for having me,
No,
man.
man, I received that so fully, and thank you. It takes one to know one. I mean, guys, this is the co-founder of Ultra Speaking who literally dove headfirst and accomplished so much in a short amount of time. Now you've built this company that's changing people's lives. It's not just speaking; it's therapy. It's opening people up. It's building bridges in a time when we're more divided than ever, and we need people to be able to communicate. We need people to be able to sit at the table, not be pressed, not be triggered, stay in character, use pausing, use all these skills to connect and be vulnerable. That's a really big thing how we can affect and change the world. So I just want to commend you guys, you, Michael, Ganga, everybody at Ultra Speaking. I feel so welcome in the family. I know everybody does. I haven't met a single person in all my interactions with Ultra Speaking that is anything but positive, supportive, a community member. And it's so important to feel seen like that. And I implore everybody to look into doing this. You guys are just going to keep blowing up. I mean, there's so many different things. You guys got to start having meditation aspects to it, because that's, I think, is the key. You're incorporating AI now. There's so many cool things happening with Ultra Speaking. So thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words, and I truly enjoyed this.
My pleasure. My pleasure.